It's day 2 of the Harlem Heian Mashup, starring Dorothy West, Madam C.J. Walker, Bessie Smith, Murasaki Shikabue, and Sei Shonigan. Our little simulated people have all been given the maximum autonomy possible, and I have moved their skills up to reflect their real-life specialties. In this episode, we'll watch Madam C.J. Walker, America's first self-made woman millionaire, and we'll see what she does when she has all the skills of a woman in the middle of her career. I've given her a bunch of sales-type skills and social, and I've given her a bunch of skills in what the game calls herbalism, so that will reflect her skills in making fine hair and hygiene products. In sim terms, her life goal is to be fabulously wealthy. I made her good, because the real woman spent so much money supporting schools and colleges and other institutions dedicated to lifting people out of poverty. And because she saw her business as a way to provide African American women with a dignified way to make a living as entrepreneurs. I've made her neat, because she stressed cleanliness in every aspect of her business. Active, because she did so much so quickly. You're watching the Sims History Channel, where we run experiments on Sims because running them on humans is illegal. What will she do, given the perfect freedom that she has here in this big, nice house, surrounded by a group of highly creative, fashionable women, and, at the moment, no financial worries? We'll watch her without interfering as we discover what her drive and determination accomplish outside the harsh limitations that she experienced growing up in the post-Civil War South. What does she want to do? What whims does she have that maybe she isn't fulfilling? Today, we'll find out. Okay, so she doesn't immediately run out to change the world. What she does initially is hang out with her gal pals. And as I began to realize that they were all going to be hanging out in their sleeping clothes, in a few minutes I realized that I have to put Madam C.J. Walker into slightly less revealing clothing, so the pink underwear will be replaced fairly shortly. For those of you who are not familiar with The Sims, the character that is currently under my control is whichever one has the plumb bob over their head, and you can see right now that is Madam C.J. Walker. And when a sim has the plumb bob over their head in this game, on the bottom left-hand corner you'll see a little avatar of them, and floating over their heads you'll see the list of things that they are currently thinking they'd like to do. In this case, what she'd like to do, you see on the left-hand side, there's two hands shaking together. That means she'd like to meet somebody new. In the middle, she has that S sign, and if you click on it, it is about wealth, but it is about simoleons. But in fact, in this case, she wants to build a new pool, so that's kind of disappointing. And then in the third one, that image of Bessie Smith, what that says is that she actually wants to get to know Bessie a little bit better, or to chat with Bessie. And these are all interactions that she can do without me. She doesn't need me to cause any of them to happen, except possibly to meet a new person, although she can do that by going out the house and standing in the yard and possibly talking to somebody who comes there, so she can meet a new person without me. There are some interactions that she can't do without my help. She can't leave the house and go to another lot, for instance. She can't get a job. She can't start her own business. There's a number of things that she requires some help with. But those of you who are Sims players, you should know that she needs less help than you might think, because I've installed Weeble 101's Greater Autonomy mod. So she can, for instance, woohoo on her own. In theory, she ought to be able to do repairs on her own, but I've found that the autonomous repair mod interferes with the autonomy mod. So later on in this video, you'll see that they're all hanging out in a house with everything broken, and I don't understand why, because initially I didn't understand why, because they were supposed to be able to fix them on their own, but then I discovered that with these two mods installed together, it was not possible for them to repair actually half of anything. So I do have to tell them when they're going to repair things. Now, as we watch this video here, we can see that Madam C.J. Walker has been watching the news, reading about, listening to things, and discovering about fires in the area. And I think we should consider this foreshadowing, because there's no such thing as a household of Sims who never have their own fire that they go on. Now, I do flick my little mouse pad around quite a bit, and you can see me doing that, but I don't actually I actually don't give them commands as this is going around. I've been trying to pay attention to see what she wants, and she hasn't had any wants that so far in this video that she can't accomplish on her own. So although I keep looking with my mouse to see what she wants to do, and if there's something that I can give her to do, I haven't seen anything yet. Remember, the rules that I set in the first video was that it has to, if she has a whim that she wants to accomplish, and she can't do it on her own, and it requires fewer than 4 clicks, then I can help her do it. You can see here that she and Murasaki are talking about the fire that they've seen on the news. And if you look at her whims again, she still wants to meet somebody new, but her basic interests still have to do with hanging out with the other girls at the house. She wants to talk with Murasaki, she wants to talk with Bessie. So, in general, she has not been showing a whole lot of the get-up-and-go spirit that I had kind of expected of her. And this might actually be because of the large sum of money that they have actually in reserve. The way that the motivation for Sims who want to be fabulously wealthy works in this game is that their first major goal involves having 10,000 simoleons in reserve, and they actually started the game with that, so she's actually started with a significant portion of her life goal already taken care of, and I will remove all of that money later on in the video. Madam C.J. Walker actually was motivated to become the entrepreneur that she became because of deprivation. She was working a very heavy physical labor job, doing laundry, and she was afraid that she would not be able to continue to do this for most of her life. This is actually a very debilitating job, and she was afraid she wouldn't be able to support her daughter with it and support herself in old age using it. Here you see me, I'm actually, I was wondering if the reason they weren't playing any of the instruments was that they couldn't reach them, so here you see me moving the violin to some place that I think is maybe more useful. I didn't expect Madam to play with it, but Bessie, of course, is somebody whose life goal has to do with making music, and both Murasaki and Sei I have given a skill in playing music, and actually a skill in the violin. And that's because part of being a properly educated court woman in the period where they were growing up was knowing how to play a musical instrument. And there isn't a Sims version of the shamisen, but it was a stringed instrument usually that they were playing. And so here we have Madam sleeping some more. This is actually the piece that I cut the original stuff from. And we could see that, I just do kind of love that shot because you can see all the other girls in the house going around in the mirror. You can watch Murasaki doing her thing. You can see Dorothy coming in. It's kind of a nice spot in the room, in the house to take images from. And here we see me You see my confusion as I look at all the broken stuff. Madam is a sim with the neat preference installed because that, I think, reflects her real personality, and I can't understand why she's willing to live surrounded by all of these broken items, right? Because she cleans everything she uses immediately after she uses it. But of course that's part of the repair thing. And here you see her working out. I've got her in this ballet costume because, Madam was always very aware of her appearance. She was always aware of other people, of trying to create a dignified image for African American women. And so, I wanted to reflect that in her clothes, to give her things that were feminine, because she was a person who dressed, at least in her public image, in pretty feminine clothes, but also respectable. So I don't have her in tight clothes, and I don't have her in revealing clothes, but everything that she's got is pretty clearly girly, and also pretty clearly ladylike. Now, I recorded a good solid hour and a half, actually, of Madam's activities, and so we're just going to watch the highlights here. You can see her, doing all the things that she thinks are fun, and I've been kind of surprised that the thing that she chooses is boxing. She doesn't play chess, she doesn't play musical instruments, she does watch TV, but the active thing that she likes to run out and do on her own is go and hit that punching bag. And I'm not quite sure what that's all about, but it does seem to make her pretty happy to do it. And so here we see another episode of her chatting with her friends. Will excuse me, please, for showing you so many of her little trips to the bathroom. Anyway, she does seem to be getting along quite well with Murasaki and with Bessie. Although I've been kind of surprised, I haven't seen Sei Shonigan in very many of these shots. And I just realized that actually as I've been watching through this video. So I have no idea what Sei Shonigan has been doing over the course of all of these episodes. And I'm kind of curious to get to that once we get to her turn in line. But this is the great moment of the house fire that I wanted to show you. And you can see that she's, heard the commotion of the fire, and you can see because of the way that she is covered with soot that the fire started while Bessie was cooking. The Sims are doing what they've been doing since the very first episodes of The Sims, standing around yelling at the fire, but third-generation Sims are smarter than first-generation Sims. They know to run away from the home, at least to get out of the way. And this is what I found was really interesting. Did you notice that Madam, she's got this playful mood going on the left? She runs from that kind of pink to the green, and then every now and then she'll turn, you'll see that orange, because she'll be very tense because of the fire. But in general, as she's standing out here with her friends, she veers between happy and playful over and over again. She doesn't seem to be at all stressed, really, by the fire. Now, this episode was quite a test for my determination to not interfere with the Sims' activity. As you can see, I am just watching them here. I keep looking to see if one of them is maybe thinking that what she'd like to do is go turn off the fire, but that doesn't seem to be what any of them wants to do. And, here I go inside watching the fire to, see how it slowly expands to fill the whole kitchen. And, there's Bessie peeing herself on the ground because she can't go inside where it's too dangerous. And it eventually occurred to me that it might not be possible for the Sims to try to extinguish the fire without me. In Sims 3, they could do it without being told, and I thought maybe that was still part of the features, but I decided that I must be wrong. And so I sent Madam over to extinguish the fire. I tried to extinguish the fires with the other girls, but I'm not sure if they refused to go or if I was clicking on the wrong thing. But as you can see, Madam did successfully stop the fire. And now you see that she's turned blue color down there on that left corner. She's feeling really good about herself and pleased because she has successfully set out the fire. So that is really the big excitement of this episode, the house fire, that they were all going to ignore, I think, until the house actually burned down around them. In our next episode, we're going to follow Bessie Smith around. I actually already playtested that a little bit and then had the game crash, so I do know that Bessie's personality is going to lead her to want different things than Madam. But that is for a further episode. And you'll notice that, once again, okay, now there's Sei Shawnigan, but all I've seen her do really is go by occasionally and eat. I don't have any idea what she's been doing for fun during Madam's time period. Oh, and during the interval, I will be having the Sims repair things before I come back on, because I didn't realize that they couldn't repair stuff autonomously with the mods that I had in. So that's it. Hope to talk with you soon, and that you are enjoying the Harlem Heian mashup. Like I said, next time, Bessie Smith. Bye.